transparently so you can see my struggles. With this music I get vulnerable, this mic is like a shovel. Got me digging through my trauma like this body's in this rubble. The destruction of my temple happened to me different levels. Adolescent years for me was difficult, I was a rebel. Never understood the difference with two brothers, I'm the middle one. Couldn't put my finger on it, I just felt the middle one. Suicidal ideations, I was just a little one. Maybe I just wanted some attention from my mama. With no daddy in the picture, started looking for a father. This turned into a mission, prison buses took me farthest from the tree I could have fallen. Left my daughter with no father, exactly what I didn't want. Chances wasn't given one. The system got a hold of me and never let me go, cause the color of my skin.
Kind of what we ended on last episode was we were going to get into the family dynamics. You had the question.
My all-time favorite.
One of your all-time favorites was the whole men want to be respected.
Yep.
Women want to be loved.
Yes.
And
that is my belief.
Man, we just had a super in-depth conversation about all these things. So we're not going to be able to recapture that, but it's going to be similar because our thoughts on it are the same, right? So, all right, man, we're gonna do it again.
Let's pop it, man. Let's pop it, man.
But also, we're playing this chess game, so drop in the comments while you're watching who you think is going to win. We started this chess game, the last failed attempt at recording, so we're back at it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. So what's your take on that whole concept, man? Your belief, kind of explain where that comes from. Like what?
Okay.
Where are we going with this? This is your show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So men want to be respected, and women want to be loved, right? And we're talking in a general sense here. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this next part out there too. Men judge other men based on their woman, right?
Yeah.
And that's almost how men work on like a status type of thing. And their woman plays a direct part in that, right? So if someone comes to my house and my partner is talking crazy to me, disrespecting me, as men, we are going to see less value in our friend. If I come over here and she's talking to you crazy and this and trying to embarrass you, whether I know it or not, I'm going to lose respect for you. And that's just what it is, right? It's how it works, in my opinion. So yeah, let's get into this. Let's get into this.
Yeah. So kind of, again, it takes me back to the same kind of what we were talking about before. Is like when I had a homeboy, right, who I could ask to do a favor or pop out real quick with me, and it seems like their female dictates whether that's okay or not.
Right.
And so, like, even in my personal life, I had one homeboy say he was going to help me do some things, like move, right? And we set a date and everything was everything, and then it got postponed, and then it got postponed a second time. The first time may or may not have been
an emergency.
Mutual,
right,
mutual, like between us. But the second time it was like, oh, my girl, blase, and I remember like hearing you say that, like whether we know it or not,
right,
will kind of gauge our respect or disrespect, of how we feel about like they lose cool points, right? And so I remember thinking, like one of my first thoughts was like really,
right,
like bro, like you already had this plan in place. I'm your guy,
right.
In my mind, I'm like, she got to suck it up. Like you already, you know what I mean? Like the man in you has got to meet this obligation that you made to your homeboy that needs the thing, right? And then so again, that like what you're saying, I can see in retrospect in some of the areas in my actual life right now, like where I'm like, damn, I do be like kind of lightweight judging motherfuckers based on their ability to have independence, which maybe my core belief is that all men should have a certain level of autonomy and independence within their relationship, period.
Right.
Whatever it is. And then it's like, how are we looking at the guy? So we talked about this, right? Me, you, and third party.
Yep.
We're in the house. We're
Yep.
kicking it. Both our females are there. Your house or mine. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Yep.
In comes third party homeboy. Bro, the boys just hit me. We got the spot. We trying to go hoop.
Yep.
It's 2:00. We talking about hooping at like 4:00.
Yeah.
Immediately, right? So my response, and this is for example purposes, right?
Yep.
My response is like, babe, I'm going to hoop at 4:00. And your response is,
mine would more be like, hey, I'm gonna go hoop. Do you mind? You know,
right. And so, and then there's the guy. Well, now we need a third guy, right? So there's 4 total. We just added the ghost.
Yeah.
The third guy says, how'd you do it?
May I go?
Right? And so,
or she starts talking down to him about how you're not going
immediately, before he even has the opportunity to ask.
Right.
Joe, you know you ain't going to hoop with them.
Boom.
Right? Without any obligation. So mind you, this scenario comes where it's afternoon, we're all chilling. There's no pre-planned anything for either of the males, right? We don't have pre-obligations to our females because that's a different obligation.
100%.
That's standing on business. You know, if I'm already planned to go to my wife's sister's with her and Joe comes in, bro, let's go hoop. I can't, bro.
We already made plans with the family, right?
Yeah, it's already plans, right? But if there's nothing going on, there's nothing immediately stopping this action from happening. What you're saying is, in this scenario, you and me both, according to you, but also I'm hearing you, right? Will look down upon the ghost
100%.
because his girl A immediately says he can't go, or B he asked for permission. Right. And that's, we know that the difference. We know that's what it was. Your version is like,
it's out of respect.
Yeah,
hey, do you mind?
Do you mind? Right. And then mine was like, I stand on that. I know for a fact there's no reason why I can't, so I am. Because I want to. So mine was more of like assertive informing. Like, I'm going to hoop, right? It is what it is. And so, and then we talked about like what happens in regards to when, in your scenario, hey babe, do you mind if there is a yes, I mind, and you really have already basically you shot that out there on some respect, right. Not actually, like in your mind, the intent wasn't to create a conversation around this.
Right, exactly.
It's different than my direct, I'm going to hoop, but the intention is the same because you are going to hoop.
Right.
So how do you navigate that conversation when she does bring up something because she, for whatever reason, she minds? Right.
Well, so the navigation really begins on her response.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if something this or this, or maybe it's all in the response.
But mind you, in this scenario, there is no plan. So already in your mind, there's no barriers to you being able to go.
Right.
In your mind. But she creates one by saying she doesn't mind.
I would feel disrespected, and my friends, knowingly or not, would lose a little bit of respect for me.
So that's kind of like your whole point in this.
Yeah,
so in that scenario, I now have the highest hierarchy in that moment.
In that moment, you are the dominant. I said, you are the dominant.
I'm going to hoop. Yep. And my babe was like, all right, babe.
100%.
That's the end of it.
Yep.
I'm now at the top of I won that round of men respecting men and putting them on a hierarchy based on their females and their female
100%
that they see.
Without a doubt. And it never even really has to be said, but as men, we can all feel it. And the point of this is, women, respect your man, especially in front of his friends, right? Because you directly affect his status amongst other men directly, right? So if you want to keep a man, that is one of the ways to act. You know, his friends come over, maybe
or at least minimize the disgruntled man.
Yes,
that when they talk about like demasculating, that is one of the ways that you can demasculate. Is that
100%?
Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then again,
women know this too. Women know this too, and I feel that society nowadays, like if we were to speak about traditionalism versus whatever this is now,
yeah.
and I'm only saying that because I don't know the term for it, right?
Well, let's before we get into the traditionalism versus, I want to ask you, does it translate the same for women?
Absolutely not. No.
So
It does not.
Elaborate a little bit.
So, okay, so same exact scenario, but for women. I feel that the woman that maybe asks her man, not that she has to, but the woman that maybe asks her man, the other women might even value that or see value in that man, right? If she going, hey babe, do you mind if I, or hey babe, may I? Not that she has to.
Okay,
But
I like this.
It's different for men and women.
But also, now say this is the scenario, and then think of a different one, right?
Okay.
So you just said that.
Yep.
And the man's like, all right, babe, you want me to cash out you some bread?
Right.
Because maybe she just got invited to go get her nails
Right.
done. A spot's open. This place is really dope. Enters third party friend. First female's like, hey, babe, do you mind? Like, shit, we had nothing planned. You know,
Go ahead.
Nigga, like, I don't give a fuck.
Enjoy yourself. Right.
Shit, here's $40. Cash out, babe. You know, handle that, right? That interaction in front of her friends, does that increase her status and yours? Or are they, in the women aspect, are we still being judged? So see, what I'm getting at is the respect of the men, right? Other men respecting and putting us in that hierarchy, because the guy says, hey, I'm going hoop, everything's good.
Yep.
See you when I get
See
back.
When I get back.
That's the guy at the top, right? The guy who asks and the guy who gets a little bit of pushback, he's lower rungs of the ladder. Right. So on the female side of it, what's the top? And is the male included? Because typically in our society, the male is included even when it's a female situation.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? So what we described earlier was the male situation where the woman represents the male's status.
Right.
But even when the tables are turned and the female comes in to offer the other female friend a spontaneous outing.
Yep.
And she is able to say, hey babe, do you mind if I go?
And he put out his phone right there, shoot you some money.
Yeah.
Hey, have a good
time. So that also increases his status. Where
100%.
Where in the first scenario, does that work for the woman? Does her status increase with yours in the men's eyes, or are the men tunnel vision and only judging you and that's it? So is it like, okay, yeah, Kalvin's good. He meets the criteria because his chick was like, yep, go ahead, babe.
Have a good time.
Have a good time. Hope you win. I know you're dope. Whatever, right? Are they even considering her at all?
No.
Regardless, even if she's the bitchy, blah, 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 and gives conflict. It's only your status that's being attributed to.
Only the man's. Right. If anything, she's a bitch now.
Yeah, but in the females version, right, the men also get status who sends the money, or like you said, it increases his value
to the other women
because she asked.
Right.
But now, traditionally, like you're saying, you're a traditionalist.
Yeah, I'm a traditionalist, correct.
So what are the bullet points through your perspective of what traditionalist is?
To me, traditionalism is the man works, maybe the wife stays home, cooks, keeps the house clean. And I currently struggle with the fact that I am not to a point yet to where my partner does not have to work. I'm striving to get there. But my ultimate goal, if I could write out my life in this perfect poem, I would work, I would pay all the bills, I would have enough money to give her for spending, and she would only work if she has to. In turn,
or if she want,
I'll say only if she wanted to. Sorry.
So even based on your traditionalism definition,
yes,
following like that line of work, would you say that if you had enough to do exactly what you're saying, all the bills paid, here's a couple bands, babe, do what you do every month, right? This is your agreement, this is your situation. Mm-hmm. Would you have the expectation that she not work?
I would prefer that she didn't work. I would prefer that she stayed home, kept the house tidy. If she wanted to work, I guess go ahead, but I would prefer her not to work. Yes. But at the same time, with that, I would expect to come home to a clean house. I would expect the laundry to be done. Not that I can't do it, or I wouldn't do it like on the weekends or something if something needed to be done. But to me, that is the trade-off, right? The kids aren't missing school. The kids' homework is taken care of. The house is swept and mopped. The bathrooms are clean.
So let me add this. My belief and what's your take on like relationships being 50-50?
If I had it my way. Okay. And what do you mean? In a monetary way? Like as far as
like when people say that, what comes to mind?
When people say that, I believe what they're alluding to is you're bringing 50% of you, you're bringing 50% of you, and then we're equally yoked, right? Whether and that can mean my 50% is paying all the bills and your 50% is keeping the house tidy. I am the provider and you are the nurturer.
So your 50-50 is still through the lens of traditionalism based
100%.
Based on your bullet points. And so there's this other 50-50 where it's like the phone bill's $80.
Right.
I'm paying it, send me 40.
Right.
The rent's blah blah blah. Let's go half and half, right? That's the kind of 50-50 that exists monetarily right now, right? So me, I indulge, full disclosure, I indulge in that type of relationship, but also that's not my preferred style of relationship.
What is your preferred?
My preferred style of relationship is 100 and 100, right?
Okay.
You bring 100% of your authentic self, similar to how you said 50-50, right? But I believe in 100 and 100 because when you're 100% of the best version of yourself, everything you bring to any space is going to be wholly and internally motivated.
Okay.
Right? And then this person is also in this space where they're healed, they're not coming with trauma baggage and da-da-da-da-da. Because if either of you believe you need to fix or change the other, then neither of you are going to feel like you're bringing 50-50 or 100-100, right? So for me, 100 is like my 100% of my whole being may look way different than yours, right?
Okay.
If we're workout partners and I can bench 315 as a max and you can only bench 225 as a max, we can still be workout partners.
Right.
But the agreement is that I know and you know we're both giving it out all.
Correct.
Our alls are just and will always be different.
Right.
So I'm also in agreement with you that if I could ideally have a financial freedom situation where I'm in a position to pay all the bills and then allocate my wife thousands of dollars, like basically give her a living wage with the rest,
right.
ideally, that's what I would do too. And again, I don't know if that's a man thing or a me thing.
It's a man thing, but let me ask you this, because it's right around the corner. You're soon to be in a situation where you will be able to pay everything. Now, when you get there, if she doesn't keep the house as clean as it is now, and I give her the utmost credit, this house is beautiful. If she doesn't uphold the house the same way, how does that make you feel? Do you still feel like she's given 100?
No. And so in that particular arrangement, because if we're basing it on like what I know for sure about my other half, right, is the fact that even with both of us working both jobs, we each work jobs, but I also allocate a lot of energy to creating that situation where I could potentially provide in that way to nonprofit and the LLC content, coaching and doing things and building that entrepreneurship. She lacks desire in any way, shape, or form to be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
That is her 225. My 315 includes all of those things, includes mass amounts of community engagement and having the capacity to wear all these different hats and multiple hats, right? But even with all that, subconsciously, she is still the unwilling participant in aspects of a traditional relationship because she does do all the laundry. She does do like 98% of the cleaning and things of that nature. Not that I never do, but I am not as helpful as she probably wishes.
Right.
Right. And it's not a disrespect on my part. It's maybe inherently how I operate. Maybe there's something back there. That's why I'm hyper focused on other things,
right,
while maintaining a job and being a dad as well, right? So to answer your question, yeah, it would seem, you know, like a shortcoming if I were to create that financial freedom to where I'm like, bills are paid, or you would have made however much a month. So basically, there's enough for you to have that, me have savings and still have whatever I have, right? And then for her to not do any of the house things that she was doing when she had a job, like, yeah, that would probably be unacceptable and change the dynamic of things. However, in addition to that, if I'm living that much with that much financial freedom, there's nanny opportunities.
Right. But I mean, that's going out of the box. Right.
She would have to pay for them.
Okay. Out of her allowance.
Exactly.
Because that's her responsibility.
Bingo.
Right.
It's not about who does it.
It's about it being done.
It's about it like being done. If I created this financial freedom and I gave you 5 racks a month, that's whatever. That's what's left. That's what's financially, fiscally responsible for you to be able to spend however you want. And you chose to use that to hire someone to cook and clean.
And so be it.
That's on you.
So be it.
But if you didn't hire someone to do that and then didn't do the work, then yeah, I think there would be some dissonance there.
You would find it unattractive.
Definitely. I would find myself frustrated and disgruntled.
Right.
You know
Right.
Right? It is what it is. So another one was you had asked actually in the content that we recorded that didn't get captured.
Yeah.
So we're trying to like play this game and remember that dope conversation we just had that we weren't able to capture. You asked if it was the duty.
Yep.
Well, go ahead and ask me. You know what I'm talking about.
So
I think it's on you too.
Is it your duty to stay the same person, we're talking physically, that you are when you guys met? So you are a infit person who lifts weights and does these things. barring any kind of major injury or health ailment, do you owe it to her
So
to stay in
not
shape?
including external factors that you don't
Yeah,
control.
yeah. We're not talking about that.
The
Right.
question is do I believe it's my duty to maintain the physical appearance
Yes,
to the best of my ability?
to the best of your abilities.
Is it my duty?
Is it your responsibility / duty? Do you
Okay.
owe it to her to not get up to 394 pounds and become a slob, knowing that she'll still love you regardless? But is it your duty to not take advantage of that?
Okay, so my immediate answer, this is how I want to answer immediately, so I'm going to answer it. My duty for that particular question is to myself first.
Okay.
Because I put in the work with or without being in a relationship to maintain what I believe is acceptable physique for me. So that directly attributes to my confidence and my belief in self or whatever, right? So that is something that it's mandatory for me to have working out and being active maintained as part of my lifestyle, right? With or without a relationship. So is it my duty to do these things for someone else? Yes and no.
Okay.
And the reason why I say yes is because if that's a significant factor in how I knocked her, right?
Right.
Part of the attraction was like, he's fit,
Right.
he's into that, this is his lifestyle, he's active. But also, that leads me to the train of thought is where the physique is a symptom or a result of the underlying characteristics that lead to me keeping my physique.
Right, 100%.
Which is my determination, my confidence, my ability to set goals and do them. Because she might be more attracted to that than the outcome. Because with age, the outcome it's gonna look different.
It's gonna fluctuate
regardless.
100%. Right.
So I think it's my duty to maintain the core values, like to not diverge too far from the person internally that I am.
Yes.
What do you think? Is it your duty to stay within the physique that you feel is most attractive to Tiff?
Absolutely. I do. Absolutely.
And again, why? Why do you?
I feel like I owe that to her, right? And again, it comes with the whole package, the drive, the determination. But if I won the lotto tomorrow for $1 billion and did not have to work, I still would not sit on the couch and eat Pop-Tarts all day without going for a run. I would try to, barring any kind of ailment, I would try to keep my physical where it is, because that is part of what attracted me to her, right? So I feel like I owe her that.
You mean
much.
That's what attracted
her to me? Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
Yeah. So and I think in a relationship, that's at some point that's almost owed to your partner. You know, if she blew up to 410, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but when we met, this is where we were, right?
Well, so basically, kind of what I'm hearing you get at is, if the option was there, right? So like, if your other half could choose to have you just as or as close to as physically attractive to them as you were when they decided to be with you, then they would choose that version.
Yeah. That's what
Is that safe to say? So like, same with you, right? Like, if you had the choice between your wife being physically attractive to you all the time,
Right.
you know, and to fall within what you believe is like your um, preference,
Okay.
right? And she was obviously your type when you
Mhm.
met and started to do that thing, barring babies and blah 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 blah
Right,
blah.
right, right, right.
But just say for the sake of argument, you know, she was way into fitness and blah blah blah. So if you had your choice, that's the energy she would maintain
100%.
throughout your relationship. And do you also believe adversely that she owes it to you to make that attempt?
I think that,
Or do you only believe that you as a man owe it to maintain the physical,
that's actually a good question.
the physical, yeah, because there's so
That's
many
actually a good
double
question.
standards, and
Right.
you offer quite a bit of double standards, right?
Yeah.
And so do you believe she owes it to you to stay physically attractive according to your preference as much as you believe it's your duty to
Okay.
maintain your physique? And do you think it's easier for you to maintain your physique than it is for a woman?
Oh yeah, we know that it's easier for a man to maintain his physique. I think women have the babies, women do all that, and our genetic makeup is completely different, right? Right.
Yeah.
But I think what's owed from the woman's side of things, what's probably owed is the drive to maintain that. You know, their bodies are a little bit different, but the initiative to try, you know what I'm saying? And not to just, like, if we want, like I said, if we want a lot of tomorrow, to not just sit around all day and do absolutely nothing
The reason
and
why
become
the reason why I ask
lazy.
that is because a lot of times when we have standards
Yeah,
and expectations for ourselves, we put those on others,
100%. Right.
and we've heard, you know, the old adage, like, you know, a woman gets married and lets herself go,
Mhm.
right? Because they're good, they got their husband, right? So do you believe that that's unfair for the husband when that happens? Because from your perspective, saying like it's my duty to
Yep.
stay like this, and then you also said, and this probably is true, a lot of women will still love if you did get to
Yeah,
350
yeah, she
pounds.
still loves me.
It's not like you're confident from your experience and
Right.
with your experience in relationships and things like that the one won't just leave because you're now bigger than she's
Right.
okay with, right? So do you think adversely it's unfair to ask a man to maintain um, the sexual attraction, sexual prowess for the female who has, without barring any, you know, pregnancy complications, thyroid, diabetes, any external reasons, if they just decide as a choice to no longer indulge in the lifestyle of fitness
Yes.
when they did before,
Yes.
and then they get into a shape that is not your type, do you believe they owe it to you to try to maintain that shape?
Yes, because
And not from like a body shaming perspective.
yeah, we're not.
This
Yeah,
is like
we're not saying that. Right, right,
some real talk, like things people might not want to talk about.
right.
It is what it is.
And it's owed both ways because it can change the sexual dynamic,
Which is important.
especially to men. Men aren't the hardest thing in the whole wide world to please. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You respect a man and you have intercourse with your man. You respect your man
He's so
and you
stupid.
have intercourse with your man. It's extremely easy. And then when females get outside of that, that's when that's when problems happen from a man's perspective. And now it's completely different for women, right? They're more emotional and you know they want to be loved, and there's a lot of different dynamics. But a man is very, very, very easy to please, and respect comes with a lot of things. Being honest with him, treating him a certain way, uplifting him, right? Right? Empowering him, whether that be in front of his friends, in front of his peers. It's actually very, very easy. So yes, I think it's owed both ways, 100%, because it will. Okay, so I mean, if conversations are sat down and had, and desires change, and maybe there's a different thing your man wants, I guess that's different. But because
Okay, so
if
based on that right there,
yeah,
what if your girl is considered slim fit?
okay,
The relationship carries on, and you find yourself like wanting something thicker,
okay,
right? Is it her responsibility to try to get thicker?
Mm,
To you see what I'm saying? To evolve with your new taste.
that's a great question.
And is it
That's a great question.
unfair? Is it unfair? She's like, fuck no, I like my slim
Right,
fit
right,
body. This is what I'm good with.
right.
So, like, if your taste changed throughout the process, then whose duty is it? So, like, real,
Right. That's a good question.
so, like, check this out.
Good question.
What if, and this is obviously super hypothetical, right? You do this for you,
Okay.
like we talked about. Is it true that you would still run? Like you said, if Tiff walked out tomorrow, are you going to gain 200 pounds
No, absolutely not.
of fat and whatever, right? No, you're still going to run. You're still going to work out. You're still going to play basketball.
Yeah, yeah,
So at its core, the duty to maintain your lifestyle is for you.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Mostly. Right.
If you have no relationship, it's 100% for you.
Okay. Okay.
So therefore, if you're in a relationship, it's still 100% for you. And
Right.
right, you add now incentive and motivation because now it's for two instead of one.
Okay.
But originally, how you look and how you
Was for
treat
me.
your body
Right.
is for you. And if you enjoy how you look naked in the mirror,
Yep, yep.
whatever, in the gym mirrors, you enjoy that. That's for you, right? Now you attracted a woman who also enjoys that. So it's easy to say, oh, it's my duty to stay like this for you.
Right.
But really, like, come on, bro. You are already
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That way, with or without her involvement in your life. It's
Okay.
already you're
Okay.
already committed to looking like that. So my question is, based on you bringing up this whose duty it
Yep,
is
yep,
to
yep.
appear a certain way is, what if she confesses to you 5 years in that she's highly attracted to men with beer bellies, but you love your six pack?
Mm.
You love your six pack. Is it your duty then to let go of your six pack and pursue obtaining a beer belly for her to be more sexually attracted to you?
That's a good question.
Isn't it?
And you know what? And you know what?
Like, how does that align with your duty?
Hold on.
Yeah.
In a relationship, perhaps it is. In a relationship, perhaps it is. Yeah. Perhaps it now becomes my duty. Yeah. So let's take that same scenario and let's flip it. Let's say two heavier set people get together. Let's say the man or the woman goes on a health journey. Let's actually, you know what? Let's make it more specific. Two heavier people get together. Let's say the man goes on a health journey. He starts to lose a little bit of weight. He starts to get more fit. He's no longer attracted to his wife, right? He comes to her, he sits her down, he expresses what he likes. She chooses not to do anything about it. Their sex life is going to change. Their sex life is 100% going to change. That dynamic is going to change the way the man feels about her.
But does that warrant justification for A, infidelity, or B, leaving?
Well, no, of course not. Not infidelity. Not infidelity.
But
leaving, perhaps.
Even in a marriage. Perhaps. You think so?
Perhaps, yeah. Perhaps. Now when we flip that same scenario, Women might look at this completely different, right?
Yeah.
They might look at this completely different. The man might perceive that, I don't want to say as a sign of disrespect, but it'll change the sex life. Now,
like, explain that. What do you mean? Men might perceive what? So the woman, two heavyset people.
Yep.
And they get together
This
because
is good. This is good.
because like attracts like, right?
Yeah.
So they're together. And they're 3 years in. The woman says, "Bump this. I like this. Whatever." She does the colon cleanse, the this, the that,
Yeah.
the this, the that. Now, when they were both 250, she's a decent height, 190, slim fit,
Right.
all the way. And not only that, has adapted this philosophy of making nutrition and this workout part of her lifestyle. And again, like you said, she sits down hubby and was like,
Yeah.
I would like for you to come into this space with me, right? And as harsh as this may sound, because of this journey, I find myself no longer attracted to to how you look.
Yes.
Right? I think it would be sexier if you not only came on this journey with me, but looked like, and then whatever example,
and outlined it. What you
this is what I'm attracted to now. In that scenario, you're saying the man would feel disrespected, or would he believe that would he believe it's his duty to go on that journey to maintain that his wife is able to feel sexually and physically attracted to him?
Yep.
Or as a man, is he going to feel like, fuck that, you have no right to ask that of me? This is how I was when you met me, and I've been maintaining it the whole relationship.
I'm gonna tell you something about this. What you just said, from a man's perspective, if she was still fucking him, it might not matter. If the sex life changed, he would A, be willing to go on that journey with her, or B, ultimately leave.
But what if he liked her the way she was more than the slim fit?
And then
because he's hefty doesn't mean
he
was attracted to her hefty size. Because he's hefty, he just genuinely is sexually attracted to heftier women. She goes on this journey, essentially against his wishes, and then to compound it, she asks him to do the same. So when she's like, "Hey, I'm attracted to slim fit. Like I want to see some muscles in you," right? But he's like, "I never wanted you to stop being thick like you were."
This is a great question. If they had this conversation before, would he feel disrespected? Absolutely.
What do you mean if they had it before?
So when they're both bigger,
right?
And he clearly says, "I'm attracted to this," and she goes on this health journey, and then asks him to, would he feel disrespected? And then she comes to him and says, "I'm now attracted to this." Would he feel slighted? Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And mind you, we're talking this scenario over.
This is all hypothetical.
Yeah, hypothetical. In this scenario, where is there room for evolution? Individual and as a couple.
Yep.
And at what point in our society would it be okay to be like, I have evolved to a place of irreconcilable differences? Is a divorce reasonable? Is it imminent? Is that something that two people can agree on? Now throw kids in the picture. This is not a cheating thing. This is not an abusive thing. This is a literal, I have evolved to a point where I am no longer attracted to you the way you are, and I will potentially become resentful because, barring any, again, health issues or reasons why you can't do this thing, you're choosing not to, right? So this is this is the woman.
Yep.
Saying, this is where I'm in life. This is what I've evolved to. This is what I love. I'm at the gym getting dumb, stupid compliments.
Right.
I'm seeing dudes look like what I want you to look like as my husband, and you're refusing. Is it your duty to take that physical journey and get to where she wants you to be or not? Or is there a point where you evolve so far apart, it's actually more beneficial to sever a marriage?
Mm. It's a great question.
Boom.
That's a great question.
What do y'all think? Like, really, like, hit
hit the comments on that one. Hit the comments on that one. That is a great question. And it's easy for me to say, oh, it's situational. And it is.
But this is the situation.
Right.
So it's not situational. We've pretty in-depth outlined a scenario that could very well exist in our society.
Right. Oh, it does exist in our society.
Right.
100%.
This could be it.
Maybe not with me and you, but our neighbors and
whoever.
Their
right?
neighbors.
So how do you navigate it?
Well, I actually think it's.
Do you stand on? Because your original question was, is it your duty to maintain your physical appearance? You didn't ask if it was your duty to maintain your physical attractiveness to your wife. Which is this question.
Right.
So you already said you agree it's your duty to maintain the status quo of when you first met to the best of your abilities, notwithstanding age and external factors, but to maintain that. But if the attraction changes, is it also your duty to maintain your attractiveness based on your partner's wants and desires when it comes to what they're attracted to, even if it drastically changes to the point where they're no longer attracted to what you've maintained as your physical attractiveness to them in the past? It evolves to damn near the opposite. Do you now go on, and vice versa? If you're fit, do you now put your health at risk to become this beer belly holding person?
Right.
Because that's going to make her suck your dick more, or that's going to make her give you more play if you have this beer belly versus holding on to your six pack and your health. Right. So there's a lot of factors in that. At what point is it wrong for her to ask that of you?
Right.
Versus it's your duty to, without question, maintain your attractiveness as the man.
And you're right. That is two different questions. It is two different questions. But, is it your duty to obtain and maintain the attractiveness for your partner? Perhaps.
Yeah.
Perhaps, yeah.
And even cosmetically, right?
So
even cosmetically, and this one you could probably relate to a lot more, a lot closer to home, right? Makeup.
Okay.
Color, type, is it my wife's duty to take into consideration her hair color when she goes to get her hair dyed?
Well, hair color is not as drastic.
It's not. It doesn't. It's part of it, though. I'm just saying the duty is. So if you have long hair, and your woman is like thoroughly attracted to your braids, or maybe she braids hair and likes to do that. Right. That's all part of it. Is it your duty to keep your hair long, even if you evolve to a place where you're like, man, I
want to cut my hair.
I want waves.
Right.
But she's like, I don't like the fade. What do you do as a man? Do you stand on you're getting that fucking fade? She's gonna deal with it?
Yeah.
Or do you deal with the discomfort that you have now found yourself living with having the long hair?
Right. That's a good question.
Where does your duty lie in that?
What choice does one make?
Yeah.
In that situation?
Are you taking care of self first?
Right.
Or does your self-esteem directly adhere to the narrative of what your wife says she's attracted to?
It's a good question.
And again, like I said, nails, hair, all that matters. It's like, if you don't like your girl having nails as long as Freddy Krueger's, and she continuously gets those, and ignores you, is that going to build a small seed of resentment? Or
every time it will. Right.
But you see what I'm saying?
Right.
So is it her duty to consult you in her physical appearance or
See,
not?
that's where I'm struggling. Is finding you the answer, a clear yes or no. But will it create resentment? Yes. Will it create and change the dynamic? Yes. But I'm struggling to find a yes or a no to that question. But I will get back to you though on that one.
Yeah.
I will. That's a good question. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So we're nearing that hour point again.
No way.
Yeah, man, it happens. And so one of the
Damn.
other points we talked about, and the scenario is very is specific. Is it so? Let's just say there insecurity exists.
Oh, yep.
Either way, whether it's
The man or the woman.
whoever it is,
Right.
or whatever the relationship may be. It could be, two men in a relationship. The question is the person that's not insecure,
Mm-hmm.
is it their duty to continuously reinforce their security, the security of the person that's insecure?
Right. You guys understand what he's asking?
So basically, if you have an insecure partner, do you believe it is your duty as the recipient of their insecurity, of their behaviors and actions that come with being insecure? Is it your responsibility to alleviate their insecurity, regardless what it's founded in? With one exception, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Sure.
But yes or no to that? Without any further context?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Without any further content? Yes.
The next question is, do you believe if there's previous infidelity and the agreement from the would-be insecure person to forgive and move forward,
right,
do you still agree it is your responsibility to alleviate all future insecurities based on the past forgiven infidelity?
Right.
And if so, to what extent?
Because I understand what you're asking me. Yes, in the sense of through your actions, right? Because like we talked about, there's only so many sorries you can say, and the word sorry is the most powerful form of the word sorry. There isn't another word in the language that holds more magnitude than sorry. So through
But it's arguably been said that sorry unaccompanied by anything else has no value.
But remember I said through your actions.
Yeah.
Through your actions.
Through your actions.
So if you don't change your actions, then what are we doing?
But okay, so again, you change your actions.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't a single moment in time and space where you have cheated, considered it, nothing, right? You don't even have the desire to be with another person.
But their insecurities.
But like I said, they've already forgiven. You've moved to this new space where you're in, right? In a normal relationship, and let's just say an example was like you get off work at said time.
Yep, 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. When you leave the office or whatever, your workspace, I hit you up.
Yep.
Hey, bro, come through.
Hey, come through for 10 minutes real quick.
Without thinking about it, you come through.
Right. It's on the way home, yeah.
Or even if it's not, you're just like, oh, hell yeah, I ain't seen my nigga in a minute. Fuck it. Boom, you pull up. 10 minutes goes to an hour. Now, in the midst of that, you have not said anything about anything to your wife, right? About your after work adventure. Because
it's spur of the moment.
Spur of the moment. Plan it, be it spontaneous. And it's not a disrespect thing, but you're just not thinking of it. But my question is, through the lens of an insecure person, how they present it, like say you walk in because you hadn't said anything, you kick it, you get home, it's now almost 7.
Okay.
And this person says to you, like, you got off at 5.
Okay.
Do you feel it's your duty having it presented like that to alleviate, or is there going to automatically arise a feeling of disrespect and resistance? Because you know that question isn't from a place of like genuine, like, oh, I missed you, I've been waiting for you to get home.
Right.
It's through the filter of the insecurity that they already supposed to have forgiven you for.
Right.
So to what extent is it your duty to alleviate security every time it arises, even if the original source was your fault or based on your actions? But at what point past the timeline of forgiveness does it not turn into like a resentment type of thing? Like, really, like, you don't trust me, leave type shit.
Right. I get what you're saying. I do. I think at a certain point, the person who is conducting these good behaviors now, if you were forgiven, but you're showing every action that you're not doing the same behaviors, if this person isn't showing the same actions of forgiveness, then it's probably on them, or they shouldn't have forgiven you.
Or said that they did. Another question, and we're nearing that hour, so this might lead into some.
We got part 3, man.
Yeah. So, have you ever been that insecure person in a relationship?
The insecure person?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you now?
No.
Have you ever been the insecure person in the relationship that you're in?
No. I'm gonna tell you why.
I just
right.
Just to lay the groundwork. Okay, so having been the insecure person in a relationship, right? What changed to allow you not to carry that into another relationship? One, and B, did the change happen in the same relationship? Like, were you ever in a relationship where you were insecure, and then you stopped being insecure in that relationship?
No.
So your insecurity carried throughout an entire relationship.
Yes.
But not into the next one.
Correct.
Why?
Because at a certain point, I experience some growth. I don't have time, nor the energy, nor the fortitude to be chasing another human being or worried about another human being. If something's gonna happen and it's gonna come out, I can deal with it then. I know that I'm a good nigga. I take care of my kids. I go to work. I'm honest. I be and go to where I say I'm going to be and go. It is too draining to have to account for another person, right? If it comes out, it's gonna come out. And so I forgot how you worded it, but
insufficient funds.
Insufficient funds, right?
And so I'll explain that. So basically, one of my philosophies is that the only real value we have in terms of currency is our energy, our thought, and our actions towards a thing, right? So I believe wholeheartedly that every morning the sun and moon do their thing. We wake up, we are allotted a certain amount of currency to play with. And with this currency, we can either spend it haphazardly, and when you spend currency, it's gone.
Right.
Or we can invest our currency throughout the day and kind of keep it coming back and keep it growing, right? But when it comes to that insecurity, I look at it as like, all right, all my currency is allocated towards something else. When it comes to that, and I run the credit card, insufficient funds will pop up every time. I don't have the currency for that type of thing. And like you said, if it were to be something that happened, then I would address it then. And I can't even say right now how I would address it.
Right.
So this is episode 2, technically 2.2 because we had to do a redo. But I feel like we captured, if not all, most of what we didn't get to record the first time we tried episode 2. But like, subscribe, and fuck with us, man. This is Kalvin and Bilal's Unpack Life Black Men's Therapy Series. Man, we're gonna do this every week. Are you gonna commit?
Pretty much every week.
As close to every week as we can.
Close to every week. Yeah, I still do got to work some weekends.
Yeah,
pretty much close every week. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you guys so much.
Drop in the comments who you think, because we're gonna now focus and finish.
Yep.
So drop in the comments who you think won this game.